How's it going, guys? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Offside. I'm your host, Manny. We have a lot of things to cover on today's episode. We have the FIFA international break, so you know we're going to be talking about the Mexican national team. Also, Europe. We have the transfer window closing very soon, so we have several things to cover. Let's get started. For starters, we're going to start with Europe and the transfer window. Dembele's move has been made official to Barcelona. The new savior, the guy that's going to replace Neymar. I'm sure you guys saw his presentation. I don't know if it's going to do it. Obviously, you can't judge the guy for the presentation. He's pretty good at Borussia Dortmund, so you know he's going to bring his game. For me, the only thing I did not like was when he said that he came to Barcelona to learn from the best player. He was talking about Messi, I'm guessing. But if you came for that much money, I don't think you have time to learn. Obviously, he's a young player. He's already starting for France. But if you came for that amount of money, I don't think you have time to learn. You should be getting on the first team from the get-go, bringing your set of skills out to the team. So I don't know if he has time to learn. Obviously, he has a long career ahead of him. But I don't know if those are the words that the Barcelona fans were waiting for. So to me, that's the only thing. I don't know if that's going to do it for the fans. If he came to my team and he said, I'm here to learn, you better learn quick, boy, because I don't got time for that. Barcelona need results quick. They have a lot of pressure on them being a very big club in Europe and around the world. So Dembele needs to step up as soon as possible. In other Barcelona news, the Coutinho rumors have rekindled. The player obviously wants to move to Barcelona. He was injured. Klopp was waiting for him. But he's going to be playing for Brazil because apparently he's fit. So relations between Coutinho and Liverpool are very low. The player wants to leave. In my case, if I were Coutinho and I weigh out the options and how Liverpool are playing to the situation that Barcelona is going through right now, I think I would stick to Liverpool because the chances of silverware are higher. Whereas Barcelona, they're going through a reconstruction phase. Maybe if we were to move next year, because Liverpool have champions, they have a shot at the league. If you've been looking at how they're playing, they have a shot. If I were him, I would definitely stick with Liverpool just because of what's going on with the team right now. They have this chemistry that they remind me of the Liverpool from 2009 when Fernando Torres was there with Steven Gerrard. They just look like a very, very good team that Liverpool haven't had in a while. So if he moves, good for Barcelona. They have a very young player, probably one of the best world-class players in the world right now. So options for Liverpool, I don't think they need Coutinho at the moment. Taking in consideration their recent form, they just beat Arsenal. They whooped Arsenal. If I was Barcelona and I want the best player from Liverpool, I would go for Sadio Mane. He's the X factor from Liverpool. I'm not gonna leave out Mohamed Salah, but he just recently moved there. But I'm guessing Barcelona want a new young player, and Coutinho is obviously that option. Linking back to Liverpool, they finally broke the bank. They got Naby Keita from Red Bull Leipzig, the German side who shocked the world last year, coming up from relegation, ending up qualifying for Champions League in their first season. He's moving till next year though, so Liverpool won't count on him till 2018. If I were Liverpool though, I'm looking at my attack. I'm seeing the options that I have. I obviously have a pretty strong front four, but the problem that they've had for the last recent years is their defense. Their defense has been looking pretty weak. Even their goalie, it doesn't matter who they switch for, Mignolet, they're both bad. I would invest in the defense because if you're trying to compete in Europe, Liverpool's finally going to be playing champions. If you're trying to compete in Europe with the big teams, all the big teams have a solid defense. They're stacked. Liverpool have a good front four, don't get me wrong, but what happens when you get struck with the counterattack or you're getting attacked? Dejan Lovren, Matip, I don't think that's going to do it for them. The Van Dijk rumors broke. It didn't happen. The move never happened from Southampton. It would have been a great move for them. Klopp needs to look at his options. He has a couple days left before the window closes to sign an experienced defender from his previous teams, maybe a defender from Borussia Dortmund or any other German sides, because he tends to bring in German players from the Bundesliga, bring them to Liverpool's side that they could adapt super quick. those would be the things that I would look for Liverpool to do. Invest in defense instead of stacking up up front. If we want to link Liverpool again, we'll talk about their game on Sunday where they spanked Arsenal. Where do we even start with Arsenal? Arsenal obviously have come a long way, and not in a good way, from their invincible season back in 04-05 when they didn't lose a game, and Arsene Wenger hasn't been able to rekindle that spark that Arsenal had for the last couple years. Arsenal fans, I'm pretty sure they're pretty pissed. The team just looks like they're going nowhere. They're just horrible, from his formations to the players that he's been bringing in. A bunch of French players that just don't adapt to the Premier League as soon as they would expect them to. The game on Sunday, just Arsenal didn't look. They looked like a League 2 side. They just broke apart. Like, Liverpool didn't even have to try. Mohamed Salah ran circles around them. Daniel Sturridge literally ran up and down through their defense. It just doesn't even look like they're a team. Like, Arsene Wenger looks like he just doesn't even care anymore. The players don't care anymore. Alexis Sanchez has to leave. A player of his caliber doesn't deserve to be on the bench. Man City have come out saying that they will make a cash plus a player. That player being Raheem Sterling. That's the biggest rumor. They'll be trading Arsenal for. Because Alexis Sanchez, being the player he is, he wants quality football a year before the World Cup so he can be in top form for the competition. All the other Arsenal players who get called up to their national teams as well. So the way that Arsenal are looking, they're not looking good. Their signings, Lacazette, you can't have Lacazette on the bench being your new star striker against Liverpool, knowing what he can do. Yeah, he scored once. Yeah, the goal that he scored the other day wasn't allowed because apparently he was offside. He's a really good player. But if you're going to start up there with Danny Welbeck, he's obviously not a Man U for a reason. Danny Welbeck isn't, I don't want to say he's a trash player. He's pretty trash though. The options you have, the money that Arsenal has, the history that Arsenal has, it just, Arsene Wenger just doesn't care. I feel bad for the fans. I remember when I first started watching football, I was an Arsenal fan before I, came to my reasons and became a Man U fan. But if I were the fans, I would definitely boycott the team till Arsene Wenger is gone, or someone leaves, someone makes a change, because that's what Arsenal need. They need a change. They need to restructure the whole thing and be the team that they once were when they were the Invincibles. To end on the Premier League, we're going to be talking about the top of the league, which is Man U. Man U is finally looking like a solid team. It reminds me of those Alex Ferguson teams where they just conquered their opponents. They just had no chance. They've kept the clean sheet in the last 3 games. It hasn't been scored on. Yeah, if I was Man U, I would look for a little better defense. That still looks like their weakness. They're mid. The unsung hero here is Matic. He does all the work. He does all the dirty work so that Pogba could have, the time to perform. Assist out there to Lukaku. Lukaku, obviously, he's a big man. He's gonna beat you if you let him turn around. And now Zlatan's coming back. He won't be joining until January, but all across, Man U just looks super, super solid. If they could keep this form, I'm sure they'll finally be competing for the title, first place, like they were used to. I don't want to get my hopes up, but top 4 would be the ideal place to finish for Man U. We head over to the international World Cup qualifiers, which means that we will be talking about the Mexican national team. And when we talk about the Mexican national team, for me, in my case, it's like going back to that ex that treats you like shit, because you always get your hopes up knowing that you're gonna get your feelings hurt at the end, and that's what happened again. Lately, I've been boycotting the Mexico games. I still watch, but it's just one of those things where you're gonna get angry because of the players that Osorio calls up, but you're still there. Once again, the players that he's called up, I'm not saying they're bad players, but come on. He has this very, very weird ideology. It's almost something Nazi-like, because he believes that his left and right backs need to be a certain height in order to play. There's great players in Mexico, and they're being left out because they don't meet a certain height qualification. Edson Alvarez the young player from America. I'm not an America fan, but I will say Edson Alvarez is a really good player. Is going to be playing right back. Paul Aguilar plays right back in America. Edson Alvarez never plays that position in America. So why in the hell is he playing there? It just doesn't make sense. It's like saying, I'm trying to have a son, and I call my friend over. He's a guy. Hey, let me get you pregnant. It's not gonna fucking work. He's a guy. That's not how it works. Jair Pereira is probably one of the better defenders in Chivas, but he's not informed to be playing for Selección. I'm a Chivas fan, and I admit that. Cota is probably the best goalie in Mexico right now. Why is Corona, who just randomly had a good game on Saturday, gonna be the starter? Ochoa, Ochoa always has to be called up. That's automatic. But Corona, like, he's put on some horrible performances. He just had one good game. You're calling him up for that? The goal against Jamaica in the Gold Cup, it's not like saying it was top bins Andrea Pirlo. It was right down the middle and he couldn't stop it. And you're gonna say like, oh yeah, you're not a pro, so you don't understand. Okay, cool. But for the place that the ball landed in, and a goalie of that caliber, if you want to put him there, to me, no Cruz Azul player should be called up. Period. Who else got called up? You know who didn't get called up? Any of the good center defensive mids in Mexico. In the Confederations Cup, he took no center defensive mids to play. He was basically putting random players to play in that position. Hector Herrera is not a defensive mid. Jonathan Dos Santos isn't a defensive mid. So he was just randomly playing players in positions that they do not belong in. What are you doing? I don't know what they taught him at Man City. Obviously, this guy has never coached in the team. This guy must really hate Mexico because of what happened to him in Puebla, that he's trying to get back at us by calling players and just pissing us off, all Mexican fans. I'm pretty sure there is no sane person in Mexico at the moment that sticks with Osorio as the national coach. I don't hate Colombian people, but a Colombian person should not be coaching the Mexican national team. It has to be someone who is Mexican or has experience and has done something good in the Mexican league. La Volpe. Shit, I'll take El Piojo Herrera back. But I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. Oribe Peralta, you leave him out. Layun, I understand his situation in Porto right now isn't the best, but come on. Shit, Luis Reyes. It makes no sense because he's a short player and left backs shouldn't be short, but he still gets called up. You didn't call him either. It makes no sense to me. So the next two games that Mexico has, obviously they play against Panama away. They win it, they're technically qualified to the World Cup. But with the performances that they've been playing, I don't know if I want that Mexico to be playing or representing us in the World Cup. Sticking to Mexico, we're going to be talking about super quick about La Liga MX and what happened during the weekend. The game of the week that we expected, Monterrey Cruz Azul, ended 1-1. The eternal curse for Cruz Azul, losing. Well, they didn't lose, they tied in the last minute. Corona obviously put up a pretty good performance against the Monterrey attack. Just bring La Bruja Zulema again so you guys could, end that curse. America lost to Morelia 2-0 away instead of Morelos. Shit. If I'm an America fan and I see that team with Silvio Romero up front, I don't know. Fernie, the camera guy, I don't know what he thinks. He's the America fan.
Fuck Chino Romero.
I wouldn't want it on my team. Chivas, once again, I'm a Chivas fan. Once again, we didn't win, we tied. But credit to Thiago Volpi, who's probably one of the best goalies, Brazilian goalies. Shit, foreign goalies to play in Mexico. My hat's off to that guy. That guy just blocked everything that they threw at him. And Tigres Lobos WAP was surprisingly the game of the week. Tigres won against Lobos WAP. Big up to Lobos WAP, being the team that just came up. They're going heads up with every team that they put. Like, yeah, they lost to Tigres. You could have seen that coming, but big ups to them for trying to play heads up with all the big teams. They don't like bow down to them just because they just recently ascended. So I actually do hope that they stay up. I actually hope that Lobos WAP stays in Primera and see if they can, get some other signings in and just become one of those teams that shocks you for a while in Liga MX and make it the vibrant league that it is. All right, guys, that brings us to the conclusion of this episode of Offside. Thank you guys for watching. The comment section is open below for you guys to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. Lobos Wab, La Bruja Zulema, to take away Cruz Azul's curse. Shit, if she could sacrifice a goat for Chivas to win, that'd be cool. Comment section open below for everyone. We've also attached our social media pages, Snapchat, Instagram. Do we have a Facebook, Fernie? I don't think we have one yet. Shit. Tinder, swipe right, Grindr, fuck it. That's open, that's all down there. Once again, thank you guys for watching, like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys here next week.